Yeah, you're right. That's a good way. It's going to cost
and the longer it takes you to pay, the higher that really goes up.
Exactly, yeah.
And so I think that might have gotten a little bit of their attention.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of times it's a matter of having the knowledge. Having the knowledge that they need to make the decision. Once they know, because I run into that a lot with the students, they say, well, if I had known, Mr. Daniels, I wouldn't have done that. Even for charge-off or settlement, which can have a tremendous impact on your credit score.
Yes.
If I had known that was going to happen, I wouldn't have accepted it. I would have found some way to make the payments, on a timely basis. So, yes, that helps. Just a lot of it is a lack of knowledge that causes the problem. Then you have some situations where people just don't care, but generally it's a lack of knowledge that causes the situation to make the bad decisions,
Well, have you run into any needs as they graduate and they have this debt and don't know which way to go? Do you have any classes for that category?
Yes, what we do, we have every session evaluated, and we ask the students to give us their email addresses, it's optional. And we've tried to follow up with them over a 3-year period. And we ask those questions to see if they are, in fact, following through the behavior changes, if they've had behavior changes as a result of the seminars and workshops, and to see what they're doing. And they contact us and contact us know if they need additional information or we want to see what they've done. And so far, it seems to be working out quite well. We had a financial literacy leadership conference last October here in D.C., and we invited back 3 individuals, with two individuals who had graduated. Back in 2005, we attended a seminar to give their testimony in terms of how they've used the information that they gained from the seminars after graduation. And they all were doing quite well. Even one young man who had been laid off, he said, well, I'm not upset because I did what you told me to do. I said, I established an emergency fund. I started paying out my student loans as soon as I finished, So my student loans are low at management. So, while I'm looking for another job right now, I'm okay. And that's what we want to hear,
Yes.
And one student, she has gone on to work with the Department of Labor, and she's providing financial literacy in her community, taking the material that we gave her, so it's the opportunity to expand it, some of we tell them, yes, you got to deal with student loans. Now, we also noticed, we got some data from the U.S. Department of Education about student loan defaults. And so we decided to track it at schools that we've gone to, to see if the student loan default rate has decreased since we started the seminars. And we was in a seminar to freshmen of credit management, student loan management. And since we started these seminars, the default rate has gone down. Now, the schools have done some things too, but we think that we've attributed to that because it has decreased since 2001 on down. So, so it seems to have an impact,
Well, you're doing a great job because that really has bothered me. I've had some seminars, not just for college students, but for adults as well.
Right.
And as we got into more of the recession feeling, more and more people came.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we have experienced that too. It used to be a time, where you thought you were going to get maybe 35 or 40 students. Now, we go anywhere from 50 to maybe 800,000 students at a time. Like we have a whole auditorium packed. We were at the Harris store in St. Louis, and we couldn't get them all in the room. They would line up outside the door. You're right, because of the economic crisis that we're experiencing, and which is impacting their homes.
Yes.
They are ready. They want to listen. And somebody beyond the classrooms, a lot of the student organizations are setting up seminars on their own. Like the athletes, we were talking about fraternities at this university. They brought athletes from Tennessee State and Harry together. They have a seminar, the AKs at University of Maryland, and various student groups. They create their own thing, At Harvard University, the Graduate Student Association brought all the graduate students at Harvard University together for 2 seminars that we put on for them, So yes, they're reaching beyond the classroom. They have their own
session. Yeah. Because my grandson just became an alpha, but that's a tradition in the family.
Oh, I see. That's good.
And I'm an Alpha Kappa Alpha. So.
Oh, that's right. That's great.
But that's very good to hear because it's so unfortunate when young people get out and they've got all this debt.
Oh, yeah.
And they like walking backwards as they try to earn money.
Oh, yeah.
because the expenses will become greater, especially after they maybe get married, start a family. The debt's still there.
Exactly. Yeah, I always suggest that you always want to maximize the earnings generated from your degree. You don't want to be loaded down with a lot of debt, because you really can't enjoy the benefits of your degree or the income from your degree because you're so loaded with debt.
And you've actually seen differences, which is, I'm sure, very gratifying.
Oh, it is gratifying. It really is. You know, it is gratifying too when you go back on campus and you see a student who you talk to, and that student was a freshman and he's a senior. You know, and he tells you, "I'm glad I was in your session because I didn't run into the pitfalls that some of my friends ran into." You know, so here I am. You know, you know, and they remember your name too. Or they, sometimes they don't always know your name, but they know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was at Jackson State, and the student said, "Yeah, you're the debt man." He would tell me what he had done. You know, so it works out.
Now, you have another role, too, with the President's Advisory Council on Financial Literacy. What does that role consist of?
Well, the directive that came from President Bush was to have the individuals on this council to come back to him and the President with recommendations to improve the financial literacy of all Americans, you know, and also have initiatives. So that's what we've been doing. The last year we presented our first report for 2008 to him in January before he left office, and we had 15 recommendations in terms of how to improve financial literacy. We wanted to have one recommendation associated with having financial literacy infused in curriculums K through 12. So as a part of that curriculum, the student would know something about how to manage their financial resources. You know, we had various recommendations in terms of how to deal with the underserved market, how to have financial literacy in the workplace. You know, so we plan to continue to work with the President Obama's administration. It's a 2-year appointment that goes through January 2010. If we have the same momentum that we had in 2008, we think we'll be able to get a lot done. So it really has helped this whole movement toward financial literacy because it raised it to another level. You know? Yeah, and so
at the right time.
At the right time. At the right. It was a part of the first stimulus package. You know, and we were there at the White House when he had Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi was there, Congressman Steny Hoyer was there, Harry Reid, you know, and then they called us in and told us what he wanted us to do, you know, so we've been working on it. We've had a national financial literacy challenge of high school students to check their knowledge. We did that twice last year. And it was amazing, you know, the results we got there. And the students had a 100% score on the test. You know, we brought them here in D.C. and recognized them, gave them scholarships, you know, and so we think we're going to get some movement there at the high school level too, you know.
Well,
but we're building it.
Thank you so very much. We're about out of time, but I really appreciate what you're doing. I think it's going to be very helpful.
Thank you.
The future of our young people will be a lot better when they know some of the information that you give. And I'll see you next week.
This has been another edition of Report from Washington featuring Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. You can reach Congresswoman Johnson at 202-225-8885 or 214-922-8885. You can also contact her through her website at http://www.house.gov/ebjohnson.